Hi guys, welcome back. This week I'm going to do just a few Valentine's thrift flips. I purchased this graphic from Etsy, and at the moment I have drawn a blank for the name of the Etsy shop. Once I remember, I will shout it out. But she has amazing vintage graphics. I can't say, oh, Holler Park Images. HOLLAR Park Images. Um, and of course, you pay for the image and you download it. It's a digital download, and you can use it as many times as you want, and it comes in all different sizes. So I chose this because I have this thrifted cutting board that I wanted to do something with. Now, I am going to put this on here, but I am not going to paint this white because I'm looking for a more primitive look, a more aged look. So I did rip the top edge because I'm going to try to blend a little bit the color. But I know like right where I want everything pretty much. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of clear wax, and I'm just going to put some up here on this handle to kind of seal it, because I'm going to go in with some dark wax, and I want to be able to wipe it back, because I think if I add a little dark wax to this, it will match up with the background of this image. So let me just wipe back some of that clear wax. Okay, now I'm going to grab my dark wax and see if I can kind of like dab it on there. No, I'm still gonna have to put paint. Yep. Okay, I'm gonna use Folk Art acrylic, and the color is Light Flesh. And then I'm gonna try Apple Barrel Nutmeg Brown to blend with. Let's see, just grab this brush here. I'm gonna make sure that I overlap the actual paper. Sorry, I was sneezing and now my nose is running. All right, I'm going to come in with Craft Smart Vanilla. This is the Michaels brand. I'm going to add some of this in here, and I think that's exactly what I'm going to need here. It's not the right color brown. I don't think. It's not dark enough. I'm going with some burnt umber. Nope, this isn't working either. I have never had this much problem. Blending. That's why I hate blending, because you just don't ever know how it's gonna come out, and I get aggravated. I get, you know, discouraged because I can't get it the way I want it, and then I'm afraid I'm gonna ruin it. All right, this is dry, and so I went over it with some clear wax, because what I want to do is I'm going to go around the edges and distress the edges, and then I'm going to go over the front and the back with some dark wax. Now, I did not seal this with clear wax first, because I want this to come out somewhat dark. So let's do our distressing first. do the back first and the sides. Oops. Love that aged look with all the cuts in there. The only thing I don't like is that it shows up where the paper is, but I can always go over it a little bit darker over there. And I think I'm just going to let it dry just as it is. Once it's all dry, then I will add a ribbon to hang it with.
Soft light falls on quiet sand. You almost leaned in. Shadows move, skin to skin. Something unspoken.
I did buy this wood oval at Dollar Tree. And I found this adorable graphic, again, at Holler Park Images. Why can't I remember that? And I thought I would put this image on here for like a cute little shelf sitter, or I can put a sawtooth hanger on the back. It could be hung up on the wall. I could put a red ribbon, and you could hang it like that on a nail. So I put it on here and got an idea of where it has to be. I did crease my paper and everything. So I'm going to, again, get my glue stick here. And I'm going to adhere it on, making sure to get the edges really well. This is much easier than Mod Podge in my book. Uh-oh, I didn't go up high enough. I wasn't up high enough. Hold on. I gotta move up. I'm just gonna, you know what? I'm gonna do the whole thing. Okay, now I got it. There we go. And I'm just gonna rub it down into that glue with my fingers. I'm not even gonna use a brayer. I don't know why I didn't do this in the first place. Cut off all this excess paper. And then I can just sand it off with my finger sander. I knew I was going to lose some of the heart, but what are you going to do? I'm trying to use my stash, my wood stash. That is cute. So now what I think I will do is I'm going to use some dark wax on the wood on the sides to warm it up. I had thought about painting it with red, but I decided I'm going to go with the dark wax and see how that looks. If I don't like it, I could always paint over it with the red. Let me, I'm going to get a small brush. Let's see. Oh, sorry about that, guys. And I don't care if I get any on the image because that'll just age it up. Whoops, not that much. All right, let me grab this rag here. Yeah, I definitely like it with the wax. But I think I'm gonna go over this with some clear wax so that I can get that dark wax off better, because I don't want it to be like too dark. So I'll seal this with some clear wax first before I get it too dark on the edges. Okay, so I put the brown stain on, and I am gonna also age up the edges, and I'm gonna use my Distress ink in walnut. I love this stuff. Love that. How cute is that? I found this really cute red and white checked ribbon, but it doesn't match because this is aged and this is not. So I'm going to take my Distress ink and I'm going to age this ribbon. Whoops. With the Distress ink. And see how that looks. Because I don't want it white. Actually, you know what? Let me try Let me try vintage photo. I think the vintage photo would be better. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That's better. All right, let me do this side as well. I'm gonna cut this off. I'm gonna make a knot. But I have to double it though, so that it won't, I'm gonna staple this on, and I don't want it to come through underneath the staple. That's a bigger knot. Hopefully it should be all right. We'll give it a shot. We'll give it a shot. We'll go on like that. I gotta get my staple gun. Y'all, my hands are so dry that everything I touch is sticking to my fingers. It's ridiculous. I gotta turn it this way facing me. And then I'll cut off this excess here. That's cute.
We'll always have that one night. We'll always have that sunrise.
All right, this project is inspired by Sandy from Sandy's Country Crafts. I love her channel, and I will leave the link for it in the description box. She does a lot of awesome primitive decor. So I bought these wood plaques at Dollar Tree. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take some dark wax. Now I did sand the sides of this because it's not, you know, it's raw wood, and it was very, there was like pieces, you know, splinters. So I went over them with the sandpaper. I did not sand this side, as you could see. I just left that alone. But I'm going to take my dark wax and I'm going to wax the board. Do the edges. I definitely will have to add more for here. I don't care if it's completely covered. Doesn't have to be, you know, completely done. I kind of like the look of it like this, actually. Maybe I'll use this side instead. I'm not sure yet. I'll have to think about it. Okay. Take this rag. Decisions. What side do I want to use? I'm going to go with this side. Yep. I love the look of that. Okay. Hey guys, we're on to the next step. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this apple barrel matte paint in the color Tuscan Red, and I'm going to paint an area on this board. I'm just going to squeeze some on there, and I'm just going to, it's not going to be perfect. I don't want it to be perfect. It's basically it, just like that. Once this dries, we're going to come back and we're going to do a crackle effect on this. So as soon as this dries, we'll come back and do the crackle. Okay, while I'm waiting for this to dry, I'm going to take the same color, and what I did is I took a priority box and I traced out 3 primitive hearts. I cut them out. Then what I did is I squirted the fronts and the backs of these with water. And I put them aside and let them sit for about 10 to 15 minutes. And then what happens is you can peel the outer layer of paper off, and you end up with this primitive looking heart with that ridge detail. So they're almost dry. So what I'm going to do is take this same paint and I am going to paint. I cut out 3 different sizes. I've already painted 1. So I'm going to paint the other 2 and then we'll come back. All right. Moving on to our next step, we are going to paint some white school glue over our red area. I'm just going to pour some on here. Hopefully that's not too much. And we are going to give it a thin coat. We don't want it too thick. And I'm going to do this in both directions because we have, the grain is like 2 directions here, if that makes sense. Okay, just like that. Okay, now we're going to get this, I'm sorry, we are going to let this dry a little bit. Maybe just let it sit for like 5 minutes so that it's kind of tacky. All right, and then we'll come back and move on to the next step. Okay. Now we're going to paint over this with our lighter color, and I'm using Waverly chalk paint in the color Plaster. And we are going to we don't want to like go over and over. We just want to do the least amount of strokes as possible. It's going to be kind of hard on this because of the grain of the wood, because I am probably going to have to go in the opposite direction. But we'll see what happens. Okay, I'm not going to do any more to it. I'm going to leave it just like that. Just take a little bit off of there. That was pretty thick there. Okay, now I'm going to hit it with my heat gun. And you'll see this will start crackling right away. Look at that. That looks fantastic. All right. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take my finger sander and I am going to go around and I am going to distress all of my edges. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Okay. Now, I have my hearts that are all painted. So what I was thinking is I'm going to go like this. I'm going to put one heart like that. One heart like this. And then another one like this. And then I'm not sure what I'm going to do after that. So I'm going to get my big heart glued down first. I'm definitely going to put a bow, I think, up here in the center of this one. And perhaps I'll put an X and then an O and then an X with Scrabble tiles. Let's see. All right, so I made a bow and I just used my bow dabra and just layered strips of fabric and lace in it and then tied it in the middle. I have other videos where I show how I make the bows. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my Distress ink and Vintage Photo and I'm going to distress the edges of my heart. I should have did this before I put them on and I forgot, but I could still do it somewhat. Actually, I should use, this is a little too light. I think I'm going to go to the walnut instead. Now, I'm going to glue my bow on. I got to trim off this excess jute. And this is going to go up here. I'm going to have to cut these a little bit shorter, these the gingham. I got to cut it a little shorter. They're too long. And I can even trim them more once I get this on here where I want it. Okay, so that's going to go right about there. Just like that. I can mess around with it later. Darn glue strings. I hate them. Okay. All right, and then on this one, the medium-sized one, I had a doily that was all falling apart, so I cut out some of the flowers, and I'm going to put that in the center of this one. And I'm also going to add this little round, little crocheted round in the center, like that. And then down here, I'm just going to put this one in the center. All right. All right, I have Scrabble tiles that I'm going to add on here that spell out XOX. X. O. X. All right. And I'm going to take out my Distress Oxide and Walnut again. And I am going to go around the outer part of my frame, or my wood, I should say. It's actually kind of like a frame. Loving it. I think that is cute. So this could be used as a shelf sitter. You can hang it, you know, add some jute string or wire and hang it. But I feel like it needs something else, and I don't know what. I don't know. I'm just going to sit back and look at it and see what I want to do.
soft light falls on quiet sand. You almost leaned in. Shadows move, skin to skin. Something unspoken. Will you let me in? You and I will always have.
Project number 4 and our last project is a very quick and easy thrift flip. I bought a set of 3 of these frames. The other 2, I printed out some beautiful bird artwork and put those in the other 2. And for this one, we're going to do something Valentine's. And I printed out this picture. And I'm going to put this in here. I've already measured it and cut it. So basically, I just need to take apart the frame. I already cleaned the actual frame itself. But I do need to clean the glass. So once I get everything unscrewed here. So I just need to clean the glass. I will clean both sides, obviously. I love oval pictures. If I can find them, I buy them because I think they're so much prettier than just your regular old square or rectangle picture. Okay. Now I'm going to take it out and I'm going to flip it. And I'm going to do this side. I love this glass cleaner, guys. Sprayway. This stuff is the best. It is the best. Can't say enough about it. I get it at Walmart. You can get it on Amazon. I'm sure at most of your grocery stores would have it. Put my picture in here. I'm gonna put this backer piece back on. And then we're going to put our back piece on here. There we go. I'll start up here and screw this back in. Look how pretty that came out. Oh, that's perfect. And the frame matches it perfectly.
Almost leaned in. Shadows move, skin to skin. Something unspoken.